for the best deals and the most awesome giveaways on sensory toys, educational tools, and kid products all in one spot. This is Sensory Deal Live. Hey y'all, Angela here. Welcome to Sensory Deal, the show that's all about exploring the world of sensory products to help you and your kiddos live your best life. 2 days ago, we celebrated National Teachers Day, and it got me reflecting on those teachers that I have met throughout my life. When I say teachers, I don't just mean teachers in a classroom. By teachers, I mean people who have helped shape me into who I am as a person today. On that same note, I thought about my kids' teachers as well. Now, our kids are virtual homeschooled, so they do have a few online teachers. I am their learning coach slash, I would say, in-person teacher aide. So, of course, they've got a few teachers, but we also have a lot of people in the background. But on top of that, there are also those who mentor them that aren't exactly your cookie cutter shape teacher. For example, our kids' therapists and their therapy assistants, maybe even sports coaches who teach them sports and sportsmanship. For today's episode, we will talk about teachers and how much we appreciate them. We have a guest joining us today, but before I introduce our special guest, I want to say hello to the viewers and all of y'all. Hey guys, thank you so much for coming. We are excited you're with us this evening. Please feel free to comment or send any questions you may have. We would love to hear from everyone. And if you end up watching the replay and catching us on a replay, please hashtag replay and still send out your questions or any comments, and we will still reply and get back with you. Joining me today is someone I know and someone I am thankful for. She is not just my fellow Locky Kid ambassador, but she is also someone who helped my son Skylar a lot. Please welcome our speech therapist, Miss Paige. Hi, Paige. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Thanks for coming. We just saw each other on Sunday, guys. So this is like a little pre-party. So, if you could tell our viewers a little bit about what you do.
So, I am a speech language pathologist or speech pathologist assistant. So, I'm studying to be an SLP, so essentially a speech therapist.
Awesome. And you are not a traditional teacher, but what do you teach your kids that you see every day?
So, I teach speech therapy. So, essentially, I specialize in articulation, which is like producing your words correctly. I work on speech, so one's self expression. I also do the receptive portion or the understanding of language. And we actually do some other things like feeding and different stuff like that, depending on, the age of the children.
Very interesting. I love how there's so many different branches to speech therapy, and it's not just one thing. And then everyday life stuff, just like with OT, they help you with the small little things that us parents take for granted. Speech also helps with some of those everyday life skills as well.
Exactly.
So, why did you decide to become a speech therapist?
So I originally wanted to be a nurse, like my mom. And I was like, okay, nursing, this is the route I want to go. And then I took an American Sign Language course my sophomore year of high school. And I was like, I don't want to be a nurse anymore. This is what I want to do. I want to be involved with the deaf community. I want to be a part of helping people communicate in a different way. So I was like, okay, how do I incorporate sign language into my everyday life? And I was like, speech therapy. Let's do it.
That is so awesome. And that is very true because with kids that are nonverbal, like many of our kids, some of them are nonverbal, at least with sign language, that helps give them a voice, even though they don't particularly have that voice in them yet, or you know what I mean? So it's nice that there is the American Sign Language, because that's something that I'm wanting to teach my kids kind of as their secondary language, because then at least, like, of course, all the other languages are perfect, you know what I mean? But at least with sign language, they can talk to someone here, and they could talk to someone that probably would normally not have someone talk to them. You know what I mean? And then it'll make that person feel special because they can talk to, you know, my child or me, instead of having to write everything down on a little notebook and then talk to us. We have one deaf employee that we have become very good friends with over at our local Publix. And he is so sweet to my son, and he's like teaching him little things. It's awesome.
I love that.
That is so awesome. Yes. So this question is going to be for both of us. Who was your inspiration growing up that led you to your current career?
So, my mother, like I said, is a nurse. So I was like, I always want to do, not necessarily ended up in the nursing field, but, seeing her growing up and taking care of different people really just pushed me to do, get out of my comfort zone and wanting to help other people and seeing how I could do that through, even speech or, going to the grocery store and seeing, the deaf employee and just saying, hey, how are you? Just having a conversation and, being able to provide the kids with, not only the language, the sensory input, the different things that different kids need, because, sometimes kids come in and they have stuff going on at school and they don't want to talk about it. And then you could just sit there and say, okay, well, do you want a hug? Yes, I want a hug. Getting them to feel comfortable in that situation. And my mom definitely inspired me to do and just go for what I wanted to do.
That's awesome. My grandparent, my grandma, and everyone on her side of the family, they were all nurses. So definitely, I've been around nurses as well. So I understand that. And that's a tough job because you have to stay calm, but still think very, very quick, because, someone's life could be literally in your hands if you freeze, so
Yeah.
we need those fast action nurses for sure. For me, I would say my mom is actually, she's on her last stretch for teacher retirement, for full retirement. So because my current career is helping take care of my kids and helping them with their education, I would say my mom helps a lot with that, because if I'm, of course, frustrated or I need a new technique to help them understand their current curriculum, I can go to her for advice now. And I can change whatever our structure is to see if it might better help the kids to just absorb and learn whatever lesson they're struggling with. For growing up, who was your favorite teacher?
So, my teacher was my third grade teacher who was obsessed with frogs, and now I have a slight frog obsession. But I've also had so many different coaches that, like, when I was thinking about these questions and I was like, teachers, like brick and mortar teachers, this is what it was. And then I was like, you know what? Once you started, I was like, you know what? You're right. Like, not everybody is a teacher, but they give you different lessons. And I would say probably all of my softball coaches, my parents, just those people that were the advocates in the background pushing me to do my best each and every day and get up when I fell, and just the people that support you at the end of the day. I think those are my favorite teachers.
Mine's kind of similar. I had a lot of good, like, brick and mortar teachers. I was brick and mortar when I was in school. I would say my music teacher, she was my high school music teacher the whole time. And she was really awesome. I was really into music. It was a good therapy type of thing for me. But of course, I didn't like to be in the front. I was one of those sopranos in the back. I like to blend in. So it was a way for me to have a voice, but not feel like I was alone, singing and being vulnerable either. So it kind of felt like it gave me some power in a way to have my singing voice and grow it. And I used to always joke with her about, I wanted to do death metal and I wanted to growl. And she was like, please, honey, let me teach you how to growl so you don't lose your voice in 5 years.
You take
So she didn't like it. Yeah, she's like, I don't want you growling, but if you're going to, let me teach you properly.
You got to take those big belly breaths.
Yes,
Big
exactly.
belly breaths.
Yes. We actually have some comments, so let's go through some of these. Facebook user, I'm so sorry your name isn't popping up, so I can't say you by name. It says, my grandma was a nurse, so I ended up joining the medical field as well. Oh, that's awesome. Yep. I mean, my mom, she was going to be a nurse, and then she said, you know what? I'm just going to be a teacher. So it's kind of in the helping field. And when I was growing up, I was thinking where I was going to go, and then when I was in college, I decided to go into equine, which is all about horses. So I went the completely different route and wanted to help horses and animals and not the people, not the people world. So that was definitely nurses. We love nurses. We also have Angela Jones. Yay, another Angela. I don't see too many Angelas around. She says, my greatest inspiration was my mother. I love to join her in her classroom. Yay, I love that we're so live, guys. Thank you. Okay. I loved to join her in her classroom each August as she prepped for a new school year. I never considered doing anything else. Oh, that's awesome, Angela. Yes, we definitely love our teachers. I mean, it is, especially in this day and age, you know what I mean? You guys have so much patience and, so much strength. We definitely appreciate you guys. We also have Facebook user says, my favorite teacher was Miss Amy. That she was my theater teacher. Oh, that's awesome. I didn't get into theater. But of course I was in that hallway with all the arts people. So I definitely had a lot of friends in that group too. And oh, hi Michelle. So you're a Facebook user. Yay. Hi, honey. She said, I don't know why it doesn't show my name. You have to click the link so you get approval, so then we can see your name on it. So next time you hop on a live, your name will be on there. And then Michelle said, hello, gorgeouses. Hi. And then of course there's links below as well. It gives you permission, Michelle. So click that bottom link and then just give them permission. All right. So let's see where I'm at. We were talking about favorite teachers. Okay. What is your fondest memory of your teacher?
So I have two different routes for this one also. So going back to the brick and mortar, my third grade teacher. So every single week she would bring in like a new frog that she had for like the year before, like other kids would bring in stuff. So every week we would have to try and find like the newest frog. So we would have to like run around the classroom and be like, okay, where's this frog? And I've actually been thinking about like putting that into my room, like, okay, what's the newest toy, or like what's the newest seating thing, or what's the newest thing that Miss Page has in her room. But a lot of, like I said, my softball coaches, and learning that even if you fall down, get yourself back up. Even if my therapy session isn't going the way I want it to, I can turn it around by bringing out some different activity and just seeing how many people have actually taught like resilience and, pick yourself back up and kind of go from there.
Yes, our coaches definitely help push us and keep us motivated. I did a lot of like when I was littler, I did a lot of say dance and karate, believe it or not. I did that for like 6 months. Yeah, my mom and my grandma kept me and my brother very busy. And we tried a little bit of everything. And then when I found my passion for horses, that's kind of when mine stopped. And she was like, okay, you're going to go right before everyone wakes up in the morning. You're going to help her mock stalls and feed the horses. And then that's how you're going to earn your lessons. So I worked at a young age for my horseback riding lessons, and my trainer, she was awesome. And I would think she would be probably a part of that teacher outside of that cookie cutter brick and mortar. She taught me a lot of stuff about horses that I really didn't know. There had been a few times where like at a summer camp, one of the girls got kicked in the knee by the horse. So, I mean, I've dealt with some traumatic things with horses, but she helped me figure out, okay, well, this is what you did wrong, and the horse only acts like this because you did something they didn't like. So then she taught me how to be able to understand the horses more, and each one is different, so she helped me learn how to read the room, I guess you could say, because just like with people, you can kind of tell if someone's a little grumpy gills or if they're overly excited, you know what I mean? So like you can feel the room and just figure out, okay, well, maybe let me go over here while they're grumpy gills and not draw attention until they get happier, So yeah, so I would say my horseback riding teacher, she did awesome. I also did summer camp with her, and I worked during the summer camp to pay for my summer camp. So she really taught me my work ethics as I want to say I was in 4th or 5th grade. Like that's how I was younger than my daughter. I was like 10, 11 years old. So she definitely taught me that work ethic, to just keep pushing. And if you're standing around doing nothing, you could be doing something,
Exactly.
And then, of course, my music teacher, I loved going to Disney Candlelight. I know you're a big Disney fan too, Paige. So I've actually sang at Disney Candlelight during high school. Yeah. So like Neil Patrick Harris. Oh yeah, he was up there. I think we had Whoopi Goldberg. She was there one year. Yeah, it was awesome. Of course, you didn't see the stars, but like you heard their voices and you knew you were a part of that Christmas tree.
Yep.
So it was very special.
My high school, so I transferred into the high school that I graduated from, and the semester before they went to Disney and they sang at the candlelight procession, and I was so sad that I missed it.
Oh, you were so close.
I was.
So close. No, that's awesome. Okay. Before we keep going down another rabbit hole, because it's Disney topic. I'm a Disney kid at heart still. I don't think I'll ever grow up. I'm obsessed with Night Before Christmas. So like, yeah, that's a topic we just don't need to go down.
It never goes old.
Yes.
It never goes away.
So before we continue our conversations, we want to hear from all of you guys. Please share your comments below of the fondest memory you have with your favorite teacher. And we will get back to those as they start. Okay, so one favorite piece of knowledge from your favorite teacher. What is one thing that has stuck with you with your frog lady teacher? I love the fact that you want to do that, by the way, because like I think that's a good scavenger hunt. It gets your kids' brains working, and they don't even know that, you know what I mean? They're already starting their session.
Exactly. Well, always kind of look for the unexpected. Like, I didn't expect my 3rd grade teacher to be like, hey, frogs. But then I was like, you know what? Frogs. So just, keeping on your toes, always, look for something or someone that maybe you could brighten someone's day if someone's grumpy gills, or, reading the room, seeing like, hey, I might want to stay over here for a few minutes, let you cool down, and then we'll see what we can do. But definitely just being able to, find the good in every situation, maybe, again, like therapy sessions, you could want it to go one way, and then all of a sudden it goes this way, and then you're like, okay, how do I go like this? So just
yes, because I know there's sometimes you have kids that just aren't ready to do what they need to do. You know what I mean? They want to play over here or go do something else, and you're having to learn to redirect them. So I can definitely, I know Skylar has done that a few times. He's given you a run for your money here and there. There's been plenty of times I'm like, I don't know how this is going to go. I'm just warning you.
Listen, he turns it around, let me tell you.
That's awesome. You're able to help him transition, because that's something that even with Paige, when we have sessions with her, she will help us with, okay, well, he's having problems transitioning. Let's work on a timer. Let's work with doing this. And she would always give me advice on what to do to help his meltdowns, because his meltdowns, like, he will destroy a room. It can get bad. Let's see. Michelle says, the fondest memory of my favorite teacher is Miss Volts. I loved that in the mornings before class, she let me play games on her computer because at that time, I just needed an adult around me who actually cared. And she made me feel special and cared for. And like I actually had an adult that I could talk to without judgment. And I really needed that in at that time. I'm very lucky to still have her in my life today. Oh, that's so awesome. I love when like therapists and teachers still stick with you, even though like, you've graduated or you're no longer in that grade. Skylar graduated from speech, so we were sad to see her go each week. But every time we saw her in passing when he was going to OT, his face, lit up, and he was so excited. When she came for his birthday party, I didn't want to spoil it for him, so I didn't really tell him if you were coming or not.
Gotcha.
So when he saw you, he was like, "Whoa!"
So I saw Riley's face first, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, hi!" And I was like, "Oh, they did not know I was here. They did not know I was coming."
Yeah, and then my daughter, the kids all got so familiar with you, and they all built their own special little relationship with you. So it's nice that we are still able to keep that open communication and still see each other in passing by.
Exactly. Well, that's what I love. I love the fact that like within my profession, I can build those relationships. Like even if you're not technically my child, you're my child at heart. Like, yeah, I always give little pieces of, myself and like make sure that, they always feel supported. They always feel like, if they're having a bad OT day, I know I could go to Miss Page's speech room and she'll be there and she'll give me a big hug. It's,
Yes.
I love all of my kids, even if they graduate and I see them, I'm like, come give me a hug. I haven't seen you in a week. Come here.
That's so awesome. One favorite life lesson that you learned from your favorite teacher?
To pivot. So I say this and I will drive it home. To pivot. Just, if life throws you a situation and then all of a sudden, you're not in control anymore, how are you going to spin it? Whether you take back control or, just keep on your toes, how are you going to, if the situation's bad, I always say, it takes more muscles in your face to frown than it does to smile. So,
Yes.
Keeping that positive mentality, how am I, I woke up mad. How am I going to change that? Just the more positive aspect and, like the frog lady. Where are my new frogs? Where are my new frogs? Where are my new opportunities that we can find?
That is so awesome. Yes, because of course, my one big thing one of my teachers told me was like, God will not give you too much that you can't handle. I did do a private school for a little bit there, just like a year back. Yeah, just a little year. So that was one thing she always said when I was having a rough day. She was like, "You can always push through it. God wouldn't give you too much if you can't handle it. I know you're dealing with stuff right now, but." you know so that was one thing that she always said. And then another one that my music teacher, she was so bubbly. She was like you. She's just so bubbly and so positive. Even when she was dealing and battling with her own stuff, you never knew it in school. Like you would hear it about it, but you never knew about it. You would never know in class. She did so well, just to keep that light and positivity shining through. Not because of course it's hard to sing something very happy-go-lucky if you're gloom, you know what I mean? Because
Exactly.
yeah, you can see, like with me, you can see my emotions on my face. So it's like so it's one of those things. It's hard. It's definitely hard sometimes to pull out of the gloom and get back into the positivity. So I love that one fact about you. You're just so upright. Like if I'm even personally down as the adult and I see her and I'm like, oh, hi, give me a hug. I just need it. It's been that day. It's been that day with
Literally.
the kids. Yes. What are you most grateful for being a teacher?
So I this is gonna sound cheesy, but honestly, I am so thankful for all of my parents that come in and they give me the opportunity to treat their children. They trust me in the fact of, I'm here to help your child. I'm here to help guide you guys as well through the journey. And, just so thankful that, all of my kids stick with me through my crazy schedule changes and everything. And I mean, I would not be the therapist that I am today without, all of my parents' support, all of my, my SLP support, um, just all of my coworkers and helping me develop my skills. I'm so grateful for everyone, honestly. Just, the teachers that have shown me to pivot, to bring resilience to the table, to, be able to just have that trust, have that support, and be the therapist that I am, because everybody else that came before me helped me support and build that bridge. It's great.
That is well said, definitely, for sure. I know with me, I love to see my kids learn something. My son struggles from time to time. Right now, my daughter just had her math state testing. So we knew that, yeah. Luckily, she had a 504 plan. So she had her wiggle seat. She had her Summerfly little wristbands. Yep. She had her Hoglet. Like she was
good. She was set.
She was good. She was good. So she was a little worried about today. Reading on Tuesday was so easy for her. She was confident. So she was a little worried about today. But of course, we had those things to help. So she knew that she was being set up for success.
That's
so
great.
When she came home, she wasn't so stressed out. I was like, so how'd you do? She's like, I'm sorry I didn't finish like everyone else. I said, honey, that's why you have time and a half. You know what I mean? We give you that time. Use that time. We would rather I would rather sit in the car an extra 30 minutes, knowing that she completes it. She feels confident in it. And then you see that smile where she's proud of herself.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then same thing with my son. I'm trying to think of one because he's had a few. Earlier today, he did a test and he has a little struggle with his phonics. So he had phonics testing today, and he was like, normally he's worried and he needs my help with the test. So I try to help, sway him on, try to get him to understand the answers. And he was like, I don't need you this time, Mom. I think I got this. He got an 87, which is passing in the virtual world. You know what I mean? In virtual K-12 school, 80 or above is passing. So he did an 80, he did an 87-ish. So I was like, hey, if you like that grade, cool. If not, we can retake it. He's like, no, I'm happy with that grade. I did that on my own. So that's awesome to hear a 7-year-old be like, I did that on my own. I didn't need you, Mommy. So those are the things as a teacher I definitely cherish, just seeing them grow and just be a sponge and absorb, and then being nice to each other, if they're actually cuddling on the couch and not fighting or pulling each other's hair. Jace now is loving to bite his sister, and I'm like, oh, Jiminy Crickets, can we not bite? No one bites in this house. Don't bite.
Yeah. It's a stage. It's a process.
Yeah, it's a stage. We're trying to cut it out, but it's a stage. So if you could please share a message of thanks to your favorite teachers.
So I want to say thank you to all of my parents who are not the traditional cookie cutter teachers, but help, like Skylar, for example. Skylar graduated speech. He tested with the normal limits, and I didn't do that by myself. I had you guys helping me at home. I had his teachers on board helping me as well. So my thanks goes out to all of the teachers that have shaped me in my life, all of the teachers that help shape all of the kids' lives, just being able to say, hey, I'm making a difference because you guys are making a difference. And I think that's amazing.
Very true. Very true. I definitely, I want to thank the teachers that have been in my life. I definitely want to thank them for teaching me to buck up and just do what you need to get done. You know what I mean? The less complaining you do, you could have had half of it done. So they definitely taught me to try to stay focused and on track. And instead of procrastinating, I could be spending that procrastination time getting it done, and then I can go out and enjoy the world, you know what I mean, and not be stuck doing all the
Exactly.
school stuff. And then definitely my horseback riding teacher, she definitely taught me a lot. It wasn't just, it was a lot of therapy stuff that happened. And I don't even think she really honestly understood that. I don't talk to her anymore. Unfortunately, I've moved around a lot, so I've lost connection with her. But she definitely taught me a lot when it came to just, I'm I'm very shy and quiet person when I don't know people. So like I'm one of those that'll just step back and observe. And she helped me learn how to observe and then how to feel comfortable to actually engage and talk to people that I don't normally know. Because that's one thing I definitely struggle with still. But she taught me how to at least start that, communication and that connection. Because not all people are bad. Not all
No.
people are going to, traumatize you. So it's one of those things where you just take that anxiety, you know what I mean, and just step in that box and try to break through, what box you put yourself in, pretty much. Because that's what I unfortunately tend to do, is put myself in a box. And then a message of thanks to all the teachers out there. I definitely can say, like, I've heard some stories with my mom. Of course, she's almost done, full retirement. So she's been there. She's been at a lot of different things when it comes to, I don't know what it's called off the top of my head, but it's like a secondary school. Instead of putting the kids in juvie, she took care of those middle school and high schoolers. I think it's called secondary school.
I was going to say secondary or alternative school.
Something, yeah. So she was in that for about 5 years. So like I have heard some stories, and then now she's a high school teacher, and she also does ESE. She is certified in ESE. So she helps a lot, just teaching me what I need to do for my kids. So definitely I've heard some stories. So like kudos out there for everyone that is a teacher, a therapist, that just wants to step in someone else's life and help mold a kid that's not theirs, because it really does take a village. I mean, some kids don't get what they need at home, so of course they need to get it somewhere else. We have attention seeking kids. That's just how this day and age is. So that's a big one, is just anybody that's willing to step out of their personal space, to want to help another kid that they necessarily don't know, you know what I mean? Just to help mold them and to be a better person.
Yeah.
And then, do you have a special message for teachers aside from what I said?
I will piggyback off and say thank you to just everyone, the teachers in general, but also just the everyday teachers, just everybody who helps shapes, just the kids' lives and, just help them grow. It is definitely appreciated because, like you said, it takes a village.
It does. And then like even with the therapist, what I love about it, like with OT, because we still are in OT, it's just the fact that that's another person in my son's life that is a consecutive person that they see, so then he gets familiar. He doesn't have to just socialize with us as a family, because of course staying at home, you don't get to socialize as much. We are pretty busy, so it's hard to, do a lot of extracurricular activities. Hopefully, things settle down and we can get back into that. But when it comes to the therapist, like they help my son personally, just with a lot of everyday things. And I know a lot of the other therapists do the same thing with their students. I mean, technically no one needs to, no one has to teach my son how to button up his shirt or button up a vest, because that's what the OT therapist uses, is a vest. That's the parent's role. You know what I mean? So, I mean, the fact that in therapy, those options are there to help with everyday tasks that we as parents might be struggling with our kids. That's something that is huge for me, because I didn't realize there was those things out there. I thought it was just, they're going to teach them how to write and be positive in writing. And that there was so much more.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Paige. This has been a fun and nostalgic conversation. I hope you can join us again next time. Now, we have an exciting exclusive announcement for you guys, for our Sensory Deal audience. because we love our teachers so much, and we are having our Teacher Appreciation Week a teacher appreciation sale. This sale will be announced to our general audience on Monday. But for a special treat for you guys, for our audience, we are opening the sale early for you all. So check the link below. It's also going to be in our comments. Yes, you heard that right. You guys get early bird access to the sale. So visit the link and see all the exciting products that we have on sale. And you will be able to enjoy up to 50% off on selected products from Lackey Kid, its partner brands, and get those products for yourself or for your kids, or even a gift for a teacher or a therapist. I know they would be definitely grateful for this. Again, go to the link to score the best deals on our teacher sale. It is LackeyKid.pages/Teacher Appreciation Week sales. I'll also be in the link in our comments below. So thank you again, Paige, for joining me, and thank you for being an awesome therapist and teacher to Skylar. And to all our teachers out there, thank you for your tireless dedication, passion, hard work in shaping our kids and their futures. We also please know that we appreciate and value you all for all your time and dedication. Well, that is it for today's show. Thank you so much for joining again. This has been Sensory Deal Live. We will see you next week for another Deals Field Thursday. Bye, guys.
Bye.